This earth inherits people, yet people do not inherit it. We come from it, and to it we return. And we all know that throughout the ages, many kings have walked this earth and ruled it, some righteous and some wicked. That is why today we are taking you to a time different from this time, and a place far from this place. This story is not just for entertainment, but for reflection and learning. Our story today is about 4 kings who defied Allah Almighty. So what was their end and their destruction? This is what we will explore with you today. The stories of the 4 kings who defied Allah and spread corruption upon the earth, and so Allah made them a lesson for those who refuse to take heed. But before we begin, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like so that every new release reaches you. Let us begin with Nimrod. Ibn Jarir said that those who ruled the earth from its east to its west were 4, 2 believers and 2 disbelievers. The believers were Suleiman ibn Dawood and Dhul Qarnayn, and the disbelievers were Nebuchadnezzar and Nimrod ibn Kanaan. Nimrod was a tyrannical and arrogant king who claimed divinity. He ruled the world from his kingdom in Babylon in Iraq. Ibn Kathir says that he was the first to place a crown upon his head and act with arrogance upon the earth, and his rule lasted 400 years. It is also said that he was the first to learn sorcery from Iblis himself, though Allah knows best. And he is the one who argued with our master Ibrahim, the close friend of the Most Merciful, after Ibrahim had smashed the idols. When Nimrod heard that Ibrahim was calling people to Allah, he summoned him, and between them the following exchange took place. Nimrod said, "Who is your Lord?" Ibrahim replied, "My Lord is the one who created everything, and it is He who gives life and causes death." Nimrod said, "I give life and I cause death." And he ordered 2 men who had been condemned to execution, releasing one and killing the other. Here our master Ibrahim, with his sharp wisdom, changed his argument and said, "Indeed, Allah brings the sun from the east, so bring it from the west." At this Nimrod was stunned and left utterly speechless. And Allah Almighty has preserved this debate in the Quran. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Have you not considered the one who argued with Ibrahim about his Lord because Allah had given him kingship? When Ibrahim said, "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death," he said, "I give life and cause death." Ibrahim said, "Indeed, Allah brings the sun from the east, so bring it from the west." And the disbeliever was overwhelmed, and Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people. Because this exchange happened in front of the people, Nimrod felt weakened and decided to take revenge. He ordered his soldiers to dig a great pit, gather an enormous amount of firewood, and ignite a blazing fire whose light could be seen from the far end of the city. They then hurled our master Ibrahim into it, using a catapult. They left it for days to burn out, and when they returned to see the ashes, they were astonished to find that the fire had not harmed Ibrahim in any way whatsoever. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. They said, "Burn him and support your gods if you are to act." We said, "O fire, be coolness and safety upon Ibrahim." And they intended a plan against him, but we made them the greatest losers, and we saved him and Lot to the land, which we had blessed for all people. As for the death of Nimrod, it was a sign of his true weakness. Allah sent against him one of the smallest soldiers from his army, the mosquito. It entered through his nostril and reached his head, causing him unbearable pain. It would not settle in his head unless he was struck on his face and head with sandals. May Allah honor you. And he lived in this condition for many years, far more years than his years of rule, until he died in humiliation from the endless beating. And in the end we say, to whom does sovereignty belong today? To Allah, the One, the Subduer. Now let us go and look at Shaddad ibn Ad. He was a king over the people of Ad, and the people of Ad were extremely tall, with each one of them reaching a height of about 12 cubits in the air, which is approximately 6 meters. Allah mentioned them in the Holy Quran and said, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful." Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Ad, the people of Iram, with lofty pillars, the like of whom had never been created in the land? They used to worship idols, and Ad had 2 sons named Shaddad and Shadid. They were arrogant and rebellious and had 3 idols they worshipped called Sada, Samud, and Al-Haba. When their father died, they transgressed and acted with tyranny, seizing control over all the lands by force until every tribe from east to west came under their authority. When their position was secure, Shadid died, and Shaddad remained alone in power with no one to challenge him, and he continued his conquests until he ruled the entire world. This Shaddad was a stubborn tyrant who worshipped idols instead of Allah. He loved to read ancient books, and every time he came across mention of paradise and what Allah had prepared in it for his close servants, of golden and silver palaces and rivers, his evil commanding soul would urge him to build something like that paradise in this world in defiance and disbelief. And refuge is with Allah Almighty. When Allah willed to establish the proof against Shaddad and his people, he sent them our Master Hud, peace be upon him, who was one of their nobles and leaders. And Allah mentioned this in the Quran, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful." And to add their brother Hud, he said, "O my people, worship Allah. You have no God other than Him. You are only those who fabricate lies." Hud, peace be upon him, came and called him to Islam and to the oneness of Allah. But Shaddad was arrogant and said to him, "If I believe in your God, what does he have to offer?" Hud, peace be upon him, told him, "He will give you in the hereafter a paradise built from gold." Shaddad responded with arrogance, "I will build in this world something like that paradise, and I have no need for what you are promising me after death." Shaddad persisted in his disbelief, and Iblis made appealing to him the construction of the city of Iram, the like of which had never been created in all the lands, and he acted with arrogance on the earth, just as Allah Almighty said, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful." As for Ad, they were arrogant upon the earth without right, and they said, "Who is greater than us in strength?" Did they not see that Allah who created them was greater than them in strength? And they were rejecting our signs. Shaddad commanded his princes to build for him his so-called paradise, and when they finished, he set out in a grand procession with his guards, servants, and ministers to go to it. He left his son Marthad, who is said to have been a Muslim, and a believer in Hud, peace be upon him, as the ruler over Hadramaut. When Shaddad drew near to the city, with only a day and night of travel remaining, a tremendous thunderous cry descended upon them from the sky, and he and everyone with him died. And everyone inside the city died as well, and it was left empty and concealed from the eyes of people. Allah Almighty explained their destruction in the Quran, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful." So we sent upon them a furious wind during days of misfortune to make them taste the punishment of disgrace in the worldly life, and the punishment of the hereafter is more disgracing, and they will not be helped. After his father perished, Marthad ordered that the body be transported to Hadramaut to be buried. They dug a grave for him between the rocks, placed him on a bed of gold, and covered him with 70 garments woven with gold, which of course was of no benefit whatsoever, since he died as a disbeliever. Now let us look at Pharaoh of Egypt. Despite his great kingdom, Pharaoh was a tyrannical, arrogant king, ungrateful for blessings, and a claimant of divinity. May Allah protect us. He was a glaring example of the oppressive tyrant, and his people were a portrait of those who follow tyrants with blind submission. It reached the point where he claimed godhood, belittled the intellects of the people, and turned away from every sign that our master Musa, peace be upon him, brought to him, until Allah destroyed him and his people. The story of Pharaoh was mentioned in the Quran across 27 chapters. Among the most prominent characteristics of Pharaoh and of anyone who follows his path is that he ruled by other than what Allah revealed, made himself an object of worship besides Allah, commanded the people to obey him, legislated for them what suited his desires and interests, and claimed that he was acting for their good. Allah Almighty mentioned this in His book, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful." And Pharaoh said, "O eminent ones, I have not known you to have a God other than me. So kindle for me, O Haman, a fire for the clay, and make for me a tower that I might look at the God of Musa, for I think he is among the liars." This claim was the result of his arrogance in his kingship, his wealth, and the power that Allah had given him. It was also because of the people's submission to him, their silence in the face of his oppression, their preoccupation with the world, and their forgetfulness of the hereafter. And the end of Pharaoh was the greatest proof that no one possesses any power or strength except by the permission of Allah. He drowned while he was chasing the prophet of Allah Musa. Allah drowned him and his soldiers because of their wrongdoing, and he saved Musa and those with him.
So Pharaoh died to be a lesson for every arrogant tyrant. Glory be to Allah who gives kingship to whom he wills and takes kingship from whom he wills. And finally let us go and take a look at Nebuchadnezzar. We now turn to Nebuchadnezzar. He was a king over Babylon in Iraq. But before he became king, he was a commander of a great army, known for his ferocity and strength. He marched with his army toward the Levant and Damascus, and the people of Damascus feared him and sought peace, giving him wealth, jewels, and precious treasures. He agreed and left them, then headed toward Jerusalem, which at the time was ruled by a king from the lineage of our master Daud, peace be upon him. That king came out to Nebuchadnezzar, submitted to him, and sought peace, giving him what the people of Damascus had given. Nebuchadnezzar took with him some of the wealthy men of the children of Israel and returned to his land. But after he left, the fear left the children of Israel, and they rose up against their king, killed him, and broke their covenant with Nebuchadnezzar. When Nebuchadnezzar found out, he returned to them with his army. They fortified themselves in the city, but he was able to storm it, destroy it, and kill many of them. He then went to the villages surrounding it and destroyed them as well. He burned the Torah that had fallen into his hands, took women and children as slaves for the people of Babylon, to the extent that the number of children alone reached 90,000. When he returned to Babylon, he distributed the wealth and the slaves until their homes were filled. Ibn Kathir mentioned in Al-Bidayah wa al-Nihayah that the Prophet of Allah, peace be upon him, passed by this village when it was empty and destroyed. And Allah said about it in the Quran, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful," or like the one who passed by a township which had fallen into ruin. He said, "How will Allah bring this to life after its death?" So Allah caused him to die for 100 years, then revived him. He said, "How long have you remained?" He said, "I have remained a day or part of a day." He said, "Rather you have remained 100 years. Look at your food and your drink. It has not changed with time. And look at your donkey. And we will make you a sign for the people. And look at the bones, how we raise them and then we cover them with flesh." And when it became clear to him, he said, "I know that Allah is over all things competent." But let us pause here for a moment. There is a difference of opinion regarding whether Nebuchadnezzar was a believer or a disbeliever. It is said that he took some wealthy men of the children of Israel because a ruler from the lineage of Daud named Zedekiah had perhaps done something. But after the children of Israel killed their king and broke the covenant, he came against them with a mighty army. And as we know, the Jews have always been known to break their covenants and kill the prophets without right. Had they honored their covenant, he would not have killed or displaced them. So history sometimes contains ambiguity and alteration. And Allah knows best. Glory be to Allah who grants honor to whom he wills and brings humiliation to whom he wills. And he is over all things competent. Whatever success there has been is from Allah alone, and whatever error there is comes from myself and from Satan. And Allah and His Messenger are free from that. And our final prayer is that all praise belongs to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. And in the end, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like so that every new release reaches you. Write to us in the comments what topic you would like us to discuss in the next episode. And watch this video which talks about